What's going on? It's the RapNerd, and we are here with another segment of Off the Shelf. And today I'm going to be talking about Cloverfield because it is the anniversary of the film's release. Now, for those who are just stumbling across this, Off the Shelf is a segment where I talk about a film, give my experience seeing it for the first time, what I actually think about the movie, and then I end it with the physical media version of the film that I own and why, and kind of show that off. So let's go ahead and get into my experience. So this film released in 2008, and this was a year after Paranormal Activity. And when that film hit, I feel like found footage stuck its flag in the ground, like this is a genre that's here to stay, and it just kind of blew up overall because, of course, Blair Witch Project and then films like Cannibal Holocaust were films that were released, but I think that they were so niche that studios didn't know how to recreate that for themselves until years of filmmakers coming up and watching these types of movies and figuring out how to do their own version. So the boom started with Paranormal Activity. That's not to say that there aren't any other films besides Paranormal Activity, because I believe in the same year Rec was released with Paranormal Activity, but that film just blew up the most out of all and kind of had so much appeal that it just created waves of filmmakers wanting to do it. So I gotta say that as well. But the year after, a lot of them released, and in that bunch was Cloverfield. And this movie blew me away because I always like found footage, but to have a found footage film of this scale, it's pretty much like watching Godzilla from a found footage standpoint. I was sold as soon as I saw the trailer. I was like, yep, gotta go see that in theaters. So back then, 2008, the early 2000s, when films were released on Thursdays, you could only go see it at either 11 or 12 a.m. And I'm talking about 11 p.m. They didn't have it like now, where on Thursdays they have a whole slew of slots starting at like 12 p.m. to watch a film. You had to go late. And Thursday nights were reserved for people who were super fans / interested in the movie they were going to see, and me and my wife were part of that bunch. So we walk into this theater. The theater in question is called Carmichael. It's still there in my hometown. We walk in, get there pretty early, which is usually not something we did back then. We would always get there like right when the movie was starting. We were young, 20s, so it is what it is. But we walk in there and we have enough time to just kind of look around, and I'll never forget, some guy walks in there and he has shades on, and again, this is 11 p.m. at night. He has shades on and he has a little jacket and his hair is slicked back, and me and my wife are both looking at this dude like. But before we could even say anything, we were sitting next to this guy. I don't know who he was with, but he just started going in on this dude like, hey, get a load of this fucking guy. He must be too cool for school with his dark shades at night, which makes no sense, and his greasy ass hair. Like, he was going in on this dude, and I had to hold my laughter back. My wife too, we were just sitting there like, random as hell, but that's something that always stuck out to me whenever I think about this film because of that. So to get into the experience, this will always be in my memory because my wife does not like this film at all. And I don't think it's from a quality standpoint. I need to clarify that with her. I don't think it was quality. And the thing is, we've seen some found footage films in theaters before. Like Quarantine is the one I think about, but it didn't make her sick. But I guess here, in the amount of shakiness with what was going on, man, she was nauseous the entire time, and she almost had to go to the restroom when we left, but luckily it didn't happen. But that's another reason this movie sticks out to me, because of her experience being so bad. But for me, what a great film. Found footage, if done right and executed well, you put in the thick of the plot. And I've never seen a film that put me in this position, again, from this scale. Like, being able to look up at the camera and you see this giant creature just slamming down, and all of the other things about the film with that are parts of things that we've seen in creature features before, but it just is a whole different experience when it's found footage. Like the subway sequence was crazy with all those little creatures running around and it being dark. The initial attack on New York happening and you experience it with the characters, and if you did not see it in a theater, you missed the experience. I ain't gonna lie, you can't recreate that at home, even though it's still just as good because it is a found footage film. And I feel like that's one of the things about found footage that works so well, is it translates good regardless of what medium you watch it. But I would just say, for this one being this big scale, you can't really feel the scope of what's going on a small screen. You just can't. So just seeing it was thrilling as hell. And I'm moving into how I feel about the movie. Easily one of my favorite found footage films ever. Matt Reeves is such a filmmaker. He has so many different types of film in his filmography, and for him to be able to pull this off on such a scale and great level, I have to kudos that guy and all the work that he's done, after that. He has a lot of movies that I love. Honestly, one of the directors who I can say I love at least 80% of his work. So I'm really thinking about putting him in my favorites category because of just what he's been able to do. And this was a starting point for me with him and his career as a filmmaker. He is so good at crafting these character moments. And the first 15 minutes of the film, you have to just kind of ride with, because the horror elements don't kick in until about 15-20 minutes in. But the way he sets these characters up and presents the drama, you already care about everybody. It's so cleverly done the way he opens the film, kind of showing a bit of footage of the two main characters, the boyfriend and girlfriend, on a vacation. Then it cuts forward to the future of the events. You already are invested because you're like, oh, this is a sweet couple. And then you get to the future of that video and seeing that he's on his way up in life, but she's not really with it. And you see them go through this argument, and the friends around him try to help them put the pieces together. So it's already drama from that point. So when the girlfriend leaves and the action starts happening, you understand the main character's reasoning for wanting to go back to save her, even though he could have just been like, screw it, because of what they went through. But all of that buildup makes that choice make sense. And just the tension continues to build and build and build, because you don't really get a good look at the creature until you're at the third act, when the military and the country has come to New York to help stop this beast, and you learn things with the characters. Like when they get on the streets and you just start to see buildings fall, structures getting thrown, and people getting knocked off by these alien creatures, it makes for such a thrill ride of a film. Like this for me is one of the most epic found footage ever made, and even in the category of creature features, this joint is epic. And I even love how the moments of danger kind of shift, because you do have the obvious creatures on the loose killing people, but you also have like the human danger of just how compromised the structure of buildings are. I mean, the whole third act, when the characters actually get to the building, that has nothing to do with monsters. You're just stuck there fearing for your life. And the way that it's captured is soul snatching, because as somebody who is kind of scared of heights, what Reeves was able to do with that sequence when they make it to the girlfriend's building, you could hear a pin drop in theaters. Everyone was just sitting there like, because of how humanly terrifying a moment like that would be. Now, I have seen gripes saying that the movie kind of resolves it into nothing because of the way the film ends. Maybe they were expecting like War of the Worlds, kind of how that ended, but I was satisfied with what I watched, and I left very, very entertained. This was like nothing I've ever experienced. So, safe to say, man, I love this film. So to get into the physical media, I do have a DVD that I bought a while ago. It's somewhere, but I updated it about 2 years ago, and that is this Cloverfield steelbook. Back when Best Buy was still selling exclusive physical media. I picked this right up at the store, so I used to love Best Buy for that, but now they can kick rocks with the bullshit they pull. But anyway, so this is a steelbook, and the dope thing about this is it's a translucent slipcase. So as you can see right here, you have the lens of the camera right there, with a shot of Statue of Liberty with the head missing because of that epic scene that they showed in the trailer. You turn it around and you still see kind of the framing of the shot here with the city under destruction. All right, so when you take this off though, you get a shot of the actual monster here rummaging through the city. And I love how you have the framing here like you're looking through a camera. That's so fire. And when you turn it around, it's like a full-on painting of destruction. And you got to use the light bounce and all of it. This is a shiny metal steel book, so you're going to see the reflection, but I'm going to try and show you. That's so dope, man. Oh my God. Then on the inside, you have I think this is the 4K and then the Blu-ray, but let me show you the design. And again, this is a scene actually from the movie, which I thought was dope whenever they can put a sequence or something within the physical media. And the craziest part about this is this thing was only 22 bucks. Found it to be insane, and that's why I bought it. Back when Best Buy used to sell physical media, I would log on every morning on Tuesday to see what they had in store, and I would place the order for whatever they had. They were always pretty good about what was in stock in store. So such a travesty that they just stopped selling shit, man. This is easily one of the dopest steelbooks that I own. I love the trend of having a translucent slipcase over a steelbook because, again, it just adds an extra layer of detail to the physical media. You can probably find this online. I don't know what the resale would be, but since Best Buy has stopped selling, I'm pretty sure this probably cost a lot if you look for it on eBay or whatever, but I had to pick it up day one, so Cloverfield, the steelbook. So that's this segment of Off the Shelf, and the goal this year is to do 1 or 2 per month because I just love talking about movies. And I didn't mention it earlier, but the reason I even made this series is I wanted to celebrate films that I love and physical media, which I always love, especially with this overarching thing, people thinking that it's gonna die out. I'm gonna celebrate it while it's still here and show off my collection. So I feel like it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about Cloverfield? If you've seen it, where do you rank it amongst found footage films? And if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you. And until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.